Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, beautiful people. How are you all doing today? So my name is Francine. I am here with my channel, The Oversoul Archives. I'm here today because I decided to really sit down and think, what is the collective meant to hear from me specifically that I can impart that uniquely, right, is catered to something that I am meant to talk about, that I'm meant to break down. And I was thinking about celebrities because I have a number of people that are very well known and very important in society that I want to talk about that has been recommended by you lovely viewers. So I'm going through a list right now, but in the meantime, there was this desire in my heart and this pull towards politics. This is not specific politicians per se, but this is about the United States government. I want to talk more about all branches. We're going to be talking about the legislative branch. We're going to be talking about the executive branch. And because I am a typical US citizen, I need to look back on my information about these things and the judicial branch. Okay? We're going to be talking about these three branches of government and we're going to break it down. We're going to touch base on what are the challenges that we are currently experiencing in our reality. Keep in mind there are many parallel realities that we constantly shift between. But this reading will be primarily focused on the consensus between all of these streams of information and time that we experience. We're going to look at what is the most likely outcome and also the energy that we're working towards or moving into or experiencing in the United States and what we can expect. So this is a major reading for me. I take these seriously. I have a number of decks that I'm going to be using, but also some spreads. So we're going to be breaking this down as much as I can today. And then we're going to see what happens in the coming months, years, however long it is. So thank you guys so much for being here. Are you guys ready? So let's tap in. Let's start off with one spread that I found here. So I wanted to go into, let's see if I can pull it up. I want to go into the subject matter. I want to go into what are the challenges that each of these branches have? What are their goals, right? Destiny, regardless of what party is involved. We're going to look at all the parties. We're going to look at the distant past and what was going on. We're going to look at the recent past, the near future. We're going to look at the outcome that we can expect, as well as their emotions, the external influences that are affecting those branches in the government, and also the attitude of the people within it. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot, and there's going to be some channeled messages that come in as well to help confirm this for people within the government that have an understanding of this information, whether they want to talk about it or not. We're going to provide whatever information is pertinent for the collective to know that they have a right to know. So let's get started. So let's tap in. I really wanted to use a different deck because I think this is the Gift of Life Tarot. I want to tap in with that. So Spirit team members, thank you so much for this message and for what's going to come through. Enlightened beings that are assisting me on my spirit team, please assist me with this message. Higher self, you're always here with me, so I thank you for this information and the impartation of truth, and that my soul's purpose is being honored at this time. Please assist me in getting messages that are meant to come through for the collective. This one really wants to come out, and I smiled because it just popped out in my face there. So that wants to be addressed. We're going to be talking about the legislative branch, okay? What are the challenges of the legislative branch? Let's try to condense it. What are the challenges that we should talk about for the legislative branch, okay? What are the challenges? Interesting. What are the challenges of the legislative branch? And just to give you guys a heads up, if you ever see me looking elsewhere and you're wondering where the hell is she looking at or what is she looking at, when you're channeling, most people that I know and that I'm aware of tend to channel by looking elsewhere, and it's something akin to meditating with your eyes open. I could close my eyes all day, but I don't really, I feel like I want to connect with you guys, so I look up every now and then to make sure that you know I'm here and I'm present. But I am channeling, so I'm going to space out, and the messages are going to come through while I'm looking, like at the roof, at my foot, at my Bastet figurine here, whatever it is, okay? So if that bothers you, this is not the reading for you. If it does, if it doesn't, you're in the right place. Thank you, guys. Second card, I want to make sure it's actually for the reading. Spirit team, let's keep going. What are the challenges? If it's meant to be that card, please allow it to come right out. Okay, it was not. What is the goal or destiny of the legislative branch, Spirit team? What is the goal or destiny? There we go. So I do really want to let you guys know my space will change in the future, but it has gone back. Have you guys noticed that? I'm sorry. It's just going to have to be like this until I can have more space, you know? Distant past for the legislative branch here. If my sound goes in and out, it's one of those things I'm working on. So the next one here is the recent past. Recent past, got it. Okay, and then the near future, and then we're gonna start from there and keep going later on. What is the near future? The energy for the near future. So for those of you that are, okay, for those of you, I feel like I'm getting a lot of people that are literature buffs or love to read, very intellectual beings. First of all, I want you to know the reason why I'm letting you see my screen is because I want you to see the spread. I want you to know there's nothing on there. That's going to be something I read off. This is all organic, okay? Secondly, I just want to also reiterate that the information that I'm going to provide, I'm going to be talking about the branches as I go through it so that people know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't want to just kind of assume that people know what I'm talking about. So with the legislative branch, let's tap into just a very basic understanding of what that even is, right? Because we know how the school system has fucked with us, okay? Or like at least not given us enough information, or we just kind of went right through that information and threw it away when we didn't need it. So I'm going to be honest, okay? So this is a blunt message. Let's tap into the legislative branch to begin with. So the legislative branch is made up of Congress, which is composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives, okay? And special agencies and offices that provide support to Congress. Their role includes drafting proposed laws for us, confirming or rejecting presidential nominations, or for heads of federal agencies, federal judges, and the Supreme Court, and having the authority to declare war. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we talk about this branch of the government here. So let's get back. What is the subject that we're talking about? What is the main energy that we can expect from the legislative branch? Okay, we have the Six of Swords. Transitions with the Six of Swords. This is the energy of making something work, seeing a brighter day, moving into calmer waters, as we all like to say. It's coming through poetic, but it's really about seeing a better day. This feels like the energy of someone who's retiring and who wants to relax, someone who wants to have more peace of mind, that wants to kind of let go of all of the swords that they have accumulated, and they want to go across the waters and to encounter peace. That is what the legislative branch of the government is trying to pursue. This is what they're experiencing at this current moment in time, is a transitionary period for obvious reasons, guys. So we had our election. There's a lot of people that are shifting. Things are shifting rapidly, and I think the hope and the desire is for peace in transitioning with this new, and not quite new, but back to Trump as well, and back to the people that are likely linked to him that are assisting him as well at this time. So that is the first card. Now, the second card here across it was the challenge. What is the challenge? We have the 10 of Wands, or the 10 of Fire. It's so fascinating to me. This 10 of Fire, right? When you think of the 10 of Wands in any tarot deck, you think of something that is even at some point humiliating. I'm feeling the energy. You know, when you see that person with 10 wands on their back, that the energy I'm getting from that is humiliation. Imagine walking around with all this weight on your back alone while everyone laughs at you with their hands crossed. They're looking at you and you're just embarrassed, or you're just feeling weak or vulnerable. What's interesting about this though is this person here in the picture, this person, if you guys can see it even, it's a little hard to see, they're smiling. This is the energy of finding solace or getting accustomed to the chaos or getting accustomed to just loss in general. So this is the energy of someone who has few bags packed, that has only the essentials, and they're smiling because they're kind of like in a, I'm getting this phrase lucid. There's a lucidity with this energy. It's the energy of, you know, when you're laughing because a situation is so freaking bad that you're just like, yeah, so yeah, I just have nothing else to do now. I have nothing to, there's no need to save face anymore. This shit is hard. That's the vibe I'm getting from this card, and I feel like this deck is specifically catered for this reading for a reason. Every deck is so distinct, and this doesn't follow necessarily the Rider Waite in exclusively. This person feels like they're on an island. So their challenge is feeling like there's so much weight impressed upon their government, upon the legislative branch, our legislative branch, if you're from the US as well. So there's this vibe of like, there's a lot of things that are holding us down or keeping us, that make us sink, and we want to free ourselves from all of these burdens, but there's a lot of heavy budget, likely there's issues with finances and other things that's causing this this burden on their shoulders. So they're feeling like this is their challenge, and their challenge is also of taking on other people's burdens. They feel like they're just not even able to take on their own. So like, you see, this can only float if we have a certain number of things on board. So there's like a fear here, and there's like a tiredness, and there's like a feeling of, I'm also hearing regret. There's some regrets on the legislative branch currently because of some things that they decided to take on that are going to be very heavy for them. Now let's clarify that. Why is the challenge the 10 of Wands? Wow. Guys, we have number 43. Okay, so for number 43, it is Aletheia. Aletheia. Aletheia is the ancient Greek personification of truth, especially truth disclosed through philosophy. Daughter to Zeus, Aletheia's sister is Pistis or Pistis, the personification of honesty. This means veracity, sincerity, honesty, fidelity, and transparency. That is what I want to see, you guys. So when I see challenges, this is what you would want to encounter when it comes to what this means. I know a lot of people have an interpretation of the snake in the Garden of Eden. And to be honest with you, when we came into this reading and I got this card, this is a new deck for me. When I saw this, I immediately thought, oh, so we're talking about temptation. This is not what that is. So for this one here that we have veracity, sincerity, honesty, fidelity, and transparency. So please be open to what this means rather than what you may think it means. So if we're seeing fidelity, transparency coming through, just to show you guys, this is the meaning for when it's upright, and when it's in reverse, it was upright. So Their challenge is honesty. Their challenge is transparency with us, the American people, and with everyone. Their challenge and their temptation, if we want to look at it from that perspective and that lens from the garden, their temptation and their challenge is being honest and not messing with information or twisting information in order for it to I'm hearing for it to, I almost said accuse, for it to, so someone is being put under the chopping block as far as accusations go, as a way of getting out of situations and kind of slithering out of certain things. It's blame shifting that tends to be a common tool, unfortunately, that I'm getting. And this is me coming from not a perspective of I hate my country, I hate where I am, I hate all of this. No, this is a perspective of a reader who's looking at a country in the world and is saying, what do the cards say? And you already read or heard what I said about this one. If someone's challenge is fidelity, that's like a person in a relationship. Let's say you're in a marriage, and the challenge for that person in a love reading, if I were to see that their challenge is being faithful to you, I would tell you that's not really what you're looking for in anything. So unless you're okay with people that are not faithful to you, that is a distinct and different matter. I just really want to make you guys aware that this is a problem. If they're having the Ten of Wands come through, that's also giving me incriminating information, because the Ten of Wands tells me there's too much for them to carry, that they can't even deny it anymore. There's an excess amount of information, an excess amount of involvements with things, an excess amount of something that is too much for them and is a burden for them at this point. What we need to do, the legislative branch needs to do as a challenge, is to drop it and to be honest. That is a challenge, though. So we will see what information we glean from the challenge. I'm hearing fish. So with the fishermen, I feel like this is significant. It's something about fish, what we bring in from overseas and what we also ingest. I'm feeling like more so about eating fish. It could be about fish, exactly that, specific information about laws and regulations that govern fishing, or that have something to do with the environment and animals, because we're getting animals coming through for a reason to tell us something more. So there we go with the challenges. We're going to look into more specific things for the year ahead as well. I don't know if I told you guys that. I'm going to be focusing on the year ahead as well, after we tap into each of the branches. So moving on, the next one we have here, let me pull it up, is what is their goal or destiny here? We have one card here. Yeah, the card on top is the moon. Their goals, the legislative branch's goals are the moon. Their destiny is the moon. This means that it's so unforeseen, or it's so blurry, it's so hidden that it's not even something that people can tell you. If someone's trying to tell you that our goal or our destiny is clear, it's not clear. I'm just gonna say that really quick. This is the fact that there are so many burdens with the challenge tells me that the reason why the moon is here is because it's so up for how people react to it. For instance, if I, for instance, was a child, right? Let's say I'm a 10-year-old who decides to go out late one night to meet a friend without telling my parents, right? There's so many things that could go wrong with that. Not letting your parents know, not having communication, for instance. Like, let's say you don't have your phone, you don't have your bag, like money with you. You just go to this friend's house, trusting that they're going to take care of everything for you. You then come back and realize, wow, your parents are like pissed at you. Like, everything that you could have possibly experienced could have gone wrong, and it was by luck that you came back safely. It feels like that with the US. Like, there's something about them being lucky in the past, and perhaps they're hoping and kind of banking on luck and strategy in order to avoid some pitfalls that are coming. When you're at the Ten of Wands, that means it's too much to bear. And when you have the Ten of Wands, you're likely to slip a few of those wands from your hands. So there's things like that. There are initiatives, like active efforts that are going to be taken on by people around them. So I'm feeling like people are going to notice certain things that are slacking, and they're going to be taking them on and saying, hey, you dropped this. You guys haven't been addressing this. And it's going to be really embarrassing in a sense, because that then this landmass, America, is going to look really, we're going to look pretty dumb in certain instances that you're going to see. That is what I'm seeing already with the Ten of Wands as a challenge and the Moon as the destiny or the goal of America for the legislative branch. This is about the people that are taking on like our laws. So I don't know what else to say with that. Goal or destiny for the legislative branch of America's Spirit Team. What is the goal or destiny? This one wants to come through. Number 51. And we're going to read that here. This is really important, guys, for me to break it down in this way. I hope you're enjoying this so far. 51 is Harpocrates. Harpocrates here on the left. It says, Harpocrates is the god of silence, secrets, and discretion. Adopted from the Egyptian child god Horus, the Greeks mistook his frequent gesture, a finger to his pursed lips, as a hush. A trickster god, Harpocrates' name serendipitously contains the first name of the modern mute comedian Harpo Marx. It means quiet, muteness, childishness. I just mentioned the child reference to you guys. Naivete, receptivity, and saintliness. That is their goal or destiny, is to be as tame, or in the sense, not tame, but childlike, naive, receptive, and quiet. They're not going to want, the legislative branch is trying, their goal is to maintain discretion, keeping everything close to the chest, not letting anything come out. Saintliness, looking clean for people on the outside. They're not as impressed by the idea of trying to help, truly help certain things, or do certain things that are kind, or certain things that seem great, right? It's more so about what is safe. There's a safeness about this energy with the 51, and this is about silence and secrets. So guys, that is the destiny, and that is the goal of the legislative branch, is to maintain secrecy. Okay, so let's continue on. So that's number 3. Let's put that here. Number 4 is the distant past. What was the distant past energy? We have strength. This is about resistance. This is about determination, resilience coming through. I feel like it's a really overworked energy though, because I'm looking at, okay, so in India, cows are very, very much revered and honored. So I want to tell you this because it's coming through specifically for America. There's something about people feeling like they're being worked, because that's the energy I'm getting from this picture, even though typically culturally this is not the case. I don't think. I feel like we work our cattle to the bone, and there's so many things that are done. There are various levels, right? There are people that do right by animals and that take care of them, that revere them and honor them within the US, and then there are those that don't, that use them and take as much as they can out of them in various forms, regardless of how they suffer. This is something that is on either end. There are good and evil purposes for everything. But I feel like with the strength card here coming in for the distant past, I feel like that was our energy. It was to be resilient, strong. I'm thinking of the lion when I think of the strength card. This is about trying to control a situation and trying to have the upper hand in situations. That's what it feels like here to me. But it feels almost tired. It feels like the energy of someone who is doing all that they can. It feels like the 9 of Wands energy, interestingly enough. So let's see, what energy can we glean from the distant past with the legislative branch of the United States of America. What is the energy for the legislative branch for the distant past? if any, Spirit team. Okay, we have 158. All right, let's get into it. We have, I believe this is Nike. I don't know why I felt like I needed to do this, like get ready. So we're gonna get into some cool energies here. 58 is, yeah, Nikes. I was correct. So Nike is the sometimes winged goddess of victory. During the Titanomachy, Nike became one of the four sentinels of Zeus's chariot. During the war between Typhon and the Olympians, Nike chastised the gods for their cowardice and led Zeus into battle, shielding him from the dark, monstrous threat. It means triumph, accomplishment, vanquishment, ascendancy, consummation. This is powerful energy. So this is embodying actually a sense of more so like of winning at all costs, of triumph, of accomplishing many things, of still putting your foot in there in the game and trying to push through whatever happens, going for it. This is like an inner determination and strength that even if the person is tired, they're doing it and they're going to continue to do it. Number 58 reduces to 13, which is death. That means it's like the energy of reviving yourself, constantly having to push through difficult, dense energies and pursuing lightness, like trying to maintain like a light disposition and frequency, even when it gets really dark and dense. That's what I'm getting. Victory here. Victory at all costs here. So that is the next one. That is the distant past, the energy of the legislative branch. And when it comes into the context, right? Because I want to take in the context of the legislative branch. When we take into consideration the fact that they're drafting proposed laws, they're trying to focus on what will benefit or be victorious for the country as a whole, even if there are things that they have to accept or compromise. There is a sense of wanting to maintain a strong authority on sticking to something. And what that is, I am very curious to know. Can you please clarify more about this strength energy for the distant past with the legislative branch? I feel like there are people in the legislative branch that are feeling really good about their decision-making processes with Trump specifically. So people that are more so Republican, I would say that they're more so feeling triumphant and victorious. And this was when the distant past occurred. It could be anything before today. Distant past, though, is usually like maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. But I'm seeing the Nine of Cups, someone feeling really contented with the situation. So I'm feeling like this was when, I feel for some reason there was this dichotomy. It was either you were excited and really happy, or you were really heartbroken because of the results of the election. That's what it feels like. I feel like that is the most recent of the distant past. This is past the election, but this is also the election as well. I'm feeling like that's coming through. There's another card. We have Six of Pentacles. Yeah, it's the energy of give and take. So there's a need for a lot of people to be more tit for tat and trying to discern what they can take and what they have to let go of, and being okay with that. This is not really a rich energy like Nike. This is the energy of like victory found in reciprocity and of getting something in return for what you let go. So it feels as though the legislative branch, that is the Senate and the House of Representatives, both houses feeling like they have to be tit for tat a lot with each other. But that's not a bad thing. I'm seeing that as them taking on what matters most to them and moving forward. So that was the distant past. How far away was that, Spirit Team? How many years was this distant past? The past 9 years is significant. So from now, 2025, 9 years prior is significant. So that would be 2016 until now is that period that we are referring to with the distant past. So let's move on. The next one here is the recent past. So this is actually going to be more recent. We have the Nine of Wands. This is the energy of resilience again. Same and similar energies. Remember when I said the Nine of Wands is significant? I should have realized that these two are very, very similar energies. This is fire energy. This is pushing past resistance, and pushing past your limitations that you may have impressed upon yourself. Now, I feel like the legislative branch, it's kind of self-explanatory in relation to the distant past. It feels the same. It feels like what our spirit teams are trying to say is that another deck will be a better suit for this because it's similar in some ways to what we had in the distant past. What is the moon's energy? We have step out of your comfort zone. So the legislative branch, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, Congress has been stepping out of their comfort zone consistently. So that is one thing, releasing things. Like we said, with the Six of Pentacles, what do you need to release? They've had to make some, I'm hearing concessions. I'm also seeing here balanced spirituality and practicality. This is your intuitive nudging on going forward with something when you don't even know really all of the information, but you just have a gut instinct. It seems as though there's some people in the group that have a gut instinct and are going with it even when they can't explain it. They try to find reasons to explain it to make it look like they're more like intellectual about these things, but there's more of an intuitive nudge happening in the group. And I'm hearing Neptune, which makes sense because Neptune in Pisces is a very strong energy towards individuality, but also like looking into the darker and more so like the creative aspects of life. So it's like, how can we get what we want in a creative way is how both sides have been operating recently in the recent past. This is full moon in Pisces, waning moon in north node. So this is about like ending certain cycles. Like when the last president came out of office, there was a need for them to release certain expectations because it did not go the way they planned. Most of them actually know that. So there's some energies of people knowing this was going to happen, but there's some that were like, okay, I have to let go of certain things now because I don't have the person I prefer in the seat or in control or in some authority anymore. So there was a need to walk away from certain energies, like to say, take what we can get at this point. Six of Pentacles, like I said. So what is the near future energy? We have the Four of Cups. Okay, so near future energies that you guys can expect, my fellow Americans, and people that are here, living here, is the Four of Cups, which is a sense of apathy, a sense of not feeling as contented, feeling like there's something lacking, and this is a lack of interest in general with what's going on right now. Bottom of the deck was the Hermit. This is about avoidance. This is about reclusing a bit. So there's the energy of reclusing after the election occurred and saying, okay, well, shoot, I got to focus on my money still, right? Queen of Pentacles, I got to focus on my child or children. I need to focus on my balance with Temperance. I need to focus on how I can continue to sustain myself. And that kind of was the focus for the legislative branch as well, because we have the Star. Why is the Star here, though? Star is such a healing energy, it seems. So let's see. We have, yeah, the Empress at the bottom. So this is something about, yeah, Ten of Cups, families. And this is about mothers, or this is about projects that were nurtured and trying to maintain focus on things that have been consistently produced with the House of Representatives and the Senate. So it's like looking at what you have and trying to maintain it financially, trying to focus on how you can balance it in the midst of difficulties or not knowing what's going to happen. Because when you feel like you're not very enthusiastic about life or about what's happening around you, you have to kind of focus on something positive in order to get through it without falling into like certain emotional challenges. So with the Ten of Cups and the Star, it's like, hey, let's look on the bright side. We have each other. Like there's that energy of like people in the group collecting and grouping and clicking, and these are like cliques within both houses, and saying, it's okay, we got this, we can do this, we can move forward. This is an emotional energy. I'm feeling a lot more emotions from the group. I'm not getting as much strategic energies with the near future. But let's continue. What messages do you have, Spirit Team? Yeah, I feel like some of them are actually like thinking this, like we got to go from the, we got to, some of them felt discouraged to the point where they thought they had to start over. And they're like, all right, back to the drawing board, guys. Let's see what we can do. We have number 6. Is there anything else for the near future influences or near future energies? Wow, okay. So we have, wow, guys, we have 6. We have 66 and we have 38. I just thought that was kind of interesting to see so many 6s. That's about karmic balance, and that's about like this is feeling karmic, the energy of the future. It feels like someone feels like within the group, the majority of the energies and the people in the legislative branch are feeling like this was meant to happen, almost in a sense because they felt like it was going too well or something was going in their favor for a bit, and they felt like, oh, naturally this is going to come and this is going to happen. It figures. That's kind of the energy. It's like it's like the energy of give and take. They recognize that now something else is coming in, and they're trying to stick together. I'm getting that with the hands together. Something about that is significant. Let's get into the 3 cards that we have here with the booklet. Number 6. So number 6 is Swan. It says Leda here, or Swan. Leda, the beautiful queen of Sparta, was seduced by Zeus disguised as a swan. From this union, Pollux and Helen of Troy are born. The mute swan who sings only at death is sacred to the god of music, Apollo. When the god descends from Delos, his chariot is pulled by swans. As a symbol of beauty, grace, and eroticism, not neuroticism, the swan is also sacred to Aphrodite, goddess of love, passion, and pleasure. Its beauty, grace, inner strength, like we said, guys, intuition, self-awakening, and commitment. Um, This feels like when you're pushed to the limit and you have to trust yourself at this point. That's what it's feeling like. It's like you find beauty within yourself. It feels like they're finding beauty as a swan archetype at this time. So the near future, they're trying to see the beauty in it. We also have 66. This is about self-awakening too, as it's stated. So there's something about an awakening process happening for specific people on the legislative branch as well. No matter how old they are, it doesn't matter. There's something about exploration and openness to the new. Trying. The Litae, Litae, are a group of female spirits, often depicted as elderly and weak, who personify prayer and repentance. As daughters and ministers of the All-Father Zeus, the Litae trailed behind his exiled first daughter, Ate, Ruin, but had trouble keeping pace. All who venerated the Litae were palliated, but those who shunned or disdained them were further abused by Ate. Wow. You can't have it either way. Like it's like the energy of if you honor certain things, you don't win no matter what is the perspective of the people in a good majority, if I'm talking about this within the group. There's this energy of damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I agree with what he's doing, for instance, Trump, if I align with what he wants to do, I'm damned by the people in my court that don't agree, or I'm damned if I do decide to submit to the people that are agreeing with me, that don't like a certain person. Something about like damned if I do, damned if I don't energy, and there being this energy of prayer, of like really hoping. There's a lot of hoping with the star card coming out earlier. I feel like this is about healing, comfort, solace, reparation, remorse, orison, penitence, succor. So there's some people that are also feeling like this is a sense, this was coming to some of the people in the legislative branch for a long time. Meaning if they were doing nefarious things or like involved with things that were not beneficial, this is almost a karmic spin or a karmic experience. And for the people that weren't doing this knowingly, even that weren't doing it at least knowingly, there's something about recognition of the need for comfort at this time because they're feeling the remorse and they're needing to heal, as we stated. So that's the energy of clinging to people or clinging to your ideals and saying, we can get through this. 38 is here. That is, you know it, Eunoia. If you guys can see that, Eunoia. It's the goodwill that exists between people, akin to the notion of good faith between interlocutors. Literally I almost said transmitted. Interesting. Translated from the Greek, eunoia means beautiful thinking, suggesting Aristotle's use of the word to indicate an ethical foundation. Another translation renders eunoia as well mind, implying the word's modern usage as denoting sound mental health. Eunoia is sometimes associated with Eunomia, goddess of good order, and Eurynome, the Titaness, who, as Zeus's third wife, bore him the charities. This is goodwill, the benefit of the doubt, rapport, ease, and communion. You see, guys, this is an awakening for a lot of people in the legislative branch. I feel like this, in the near future, you're going to see people coming together, either within their courts or coming to an understanding together. There's something about communion, about something about recognition of when it's time to let go of certain things, and when you see that something is coming to you, like karma is coming at your door. There's an energy of like seeing the need for reparations for certain things. This could be things that were done that you were not aware of as the people of this country, recognizing that it's coming out and recognizing that we need to press into caring for one another. This is like a very, very surprising energy in the near future. I thought this would happen eventually. This is feeling very close, and I'm hearing 18, so 18 months. But this is beautiful in the sense that it's a recognition of the need for seeing the benefit of the doubt in people. This could be perhaps people seeing the benefit of the doubt with Trump and actually seeing what they can get out of it instead of what they lose from it. This is like an energy of like you can't make things go a certain way, so you might as well go with it. This is the vibe, okay? So someone's going with it, and I feel like a good proportion is what I'm hearing of them are going with it. So, okay, I mean, that's what's coming through. 6, 11, and 12 is significant, or 6, 2, and 3 is significant. So this is karmic balance or justice in some way for them. This is balancing it in some form or fashion. I want people to understand what balance means, because I almost like I'm starting to become more and more cut and dry. I'm considerate of people as well, but I'm blunt, and I can't stop being blunt as a Virgo. So I just want to make it clear, like, there's something here about balance needing to be restored regardless of what side you're on. So balance is balance. Balance doesn't change. It's in the middle. It never goes from one extreme to the other, and it's called balance. Balance is in the middle. So someone here needs to recognize and not just get stuck with all of the terminology of Democrat and Republican, blah, blah, blah. You know, these terms, what are the policies? What are the laws? What is the energy behind it? That matters more than the words. The verbiage, people get lost in the verbiage, and I'm not about that on this channel. So don't even try. Something about someone here, like trying to glean something but taking only what resonates. This is not take what resonates. This is an energy exchange, but this is an energy evaluation. This is not take what resonates. So I don't know, I had to say that. So I feel like someone here needs to understand some things are just, it's not what you like to hear, it's what you need to hear. And if you don't need to hear it, you're not going to see my video. So that's how it is. Let's get into the next one. So number 7 is the subject's attitude, which is me pissed off with somebody in the audience. Because energetically they came in and I'm like, I want you to come correct. This is a reading for the collective, and it's meant to help you guys because there's love abound in this reading. Regardless of what it sounds like to you right now, we will see how it comes to play later. The subject's attitude, Spirit Team. What is the legislative branch's attitude towards all of this? Because I feel like the Moonology deck is significant. Moonology, you and your loved ones are safe. So they're focusing on their family, they're focusing on the people close to them. They're trying to focus on making sure their family is safe, meaning that if information comes out, that they're protected. So this is the energy of self-preservation and also of recognizing that family matters more than the people within their court. So this is a recognition of what matters most intrinsically for each and every one of them, at least most of them. Be bold and make the first move. There's something about being bold and not caring anymore in some capacity. I feel like culturally we are getting less and less careful with what we say, and there could be a good thing and a bad thing about that, meaning you could be very reckless with your words and hurt people intentionally and hurt people even if it's not intentionally without clarifying what you mean to help people understand you deeply. So this is something, there's something about communication, perhaps hearing more communication on specific people within the legislative branch, so within the Senate and the House of Representatives, and them being bold to say something before it happens, or being bold to stand either with or on another side, right? It's standing up for what they feel and what they believe, and that could be a little, that could be a little controversial for people to see. I'm hearing May 18th is significant, so I don't know if someone's birthday is on May 18th that's watching this right now, or if the person, politician, the individual is from or was born May 18th, or something is happening then. Have faith in your dreams. So there's a dreamy energy with the legislative branch, which is really fascinating. Usually I would think of more of like a grounded approach, more practical and strategic. I'm getting more like hopeful in a sense and trying to get past that feeling of lack or feeling of distance or feeling of even depression a bit at what's happened recently. So let's keep going. So number 8, what is the external influence here? Let's go back to the tarot. Wow, external influences, there's not many. We have the Hermit. This is trying to focus in on your borders, trying to focus in on your autonomy in a sense, and focusing on your inner light. This is not, there's not much external influence happening. Can you please clarify? Page of Pentacles. Surprisingly, I don't even really know what to expect, but I didn't expect to get the Hermit for external influences. Typically countries work together, partner up, and perhaps they're, despite all of the partnerships that are playing out in the US, we have many. There's something about energetically distinguishing oneself and trying to hold back in a sense. We have the Page of Pentacles, which is a student. This is observing people. So there's external influences here of learning from people, actually addressing, and I want to protect this child just in case, but this child here, the sun is here. That's exposure and enlightenment. That is about joy or about recognition of the gifts that other countries impart. And there's something about like learning from them. So this is a very humble energy that I did not expect with the US in a sense. No offense. If you take offense, I feel like everyone and their mom has been in this energy. This is not new to the world, and this is not new to humanity. This is the Daughter of Air, Page of Swords. This is about saying, hey, I like what you're doing over there. Let me do that. Or, hey, I like what you're doing. Tell me more. This is the energy of laws and regulations being addressed and looking at it from another perspective. And this may have something to do with immigration over time. Hold on. Immigration with regards to like looking at people that are on the Senate and House of Representatives and whether they are a second generation or first generation American. There's something about influences from other countries assisting the people in Congress with addressing certain new subjects or certain ways of proposing laws and legislation. So there's an openness here that I think is coming from a well-rounded response or well-rounded perspective. And typically people that have traveled have a great perspective. If they travel, not just on mission trips, but like when they go to mission trips, they're there just to enjoy the company of the people there and getting to know the culture, not to impress upon their own culture there. I'm talking about people that travel to get to know a landmass, to know the history, to speak the language, to interact with people, to not just go to the tourist attractions and to the sites that are cute. This is not a bad thing to do, but I want to speak to the people that get that, the understanding of like what it means to go to the slums or to go to the suburban area areas or to go to various places within a land mass and to encounter it without expressing a need for assimilation of your own energy. That really brings a lot of beautiful things into government and into legislation, because then it gives you a better and well-rounded approach mentally, because you can understand things from more angles than just your own neighborhood. This is a really important thing for languages too, like getting to experience other languages. It helps you understand the Latin, it helps you understand the root, the Hebrew, the Aramaic. It helps you to understand where it comes from when you can get exposure to other cultures. Just as an example, okay? So that is what I'm getting for the external influence. Let's get into the inner emotions. For the people that love this information, you guys are amazing. For the people that are going to come across this path and come across my path in this reading, thank you so much for your openness to the experience of going through this reading and not the judgment and limitations that some can bring. I just want to make sure I make it clear that I love and I'm grateful for the people that come across my path that are constructive and are kind and are open, not closed, not mules, not stubborn. The people that get it, okay? The lovers, the people that actually are connected to this information and want to see America succeed, want to see America transform, and don't want to just sit in the same old, because we are transforming, okay? So inner emotions, what are the inner emotions here? The devil energy is coming through. So there's something about this energy. This could be the energy that I am channeling right now that I feel. It feels like it's connected to the legislative branch. It's like trying to stand up and trying to say, at least we have X, Y, or Z. And let's look at this in a more well-balanced and economical and fair approach. There's something about something shifting in this group. The Congress is going through it, through some shifts. We have here the inner emotions, though, the devil. There's fear. There's fear here. There are contracts and there are negotiations and there are connections within the group, within Congress, that are draining the people in there. So let's get into that. Yeah. So we have here the Seven of Wands and the Chariot. I almost said the Eight of Wands. The Seven of Wands is defensiveness. The Chariot is success. So there's like this stubborn energy that I was feeling, and now I know why. It is coming from the energy of Congress, specifically with being determined. And we got the fire energy, the Nine of Wands, the Strength card coming through. There's that vibe of like inner strength, a lion's heart in a sense, of wanting to succeed and of wanting to push past boundaries or push past certain things. That's still pervading or being addressed here, because the devil energy tells me it's a fear of fighting a little too recklessly, or of challenging certain groups, or being a little too stubborn about their approach. So that's what the inner emotions are trying to say here. On the other side, there are two sides. So we have that devil, we have the Seven of Wands and the Chariot. Now we have the Knight of Pentacles, more people that are more progressive and faithful and slow, consistent, meaning I wouldn't say slow to opening up, but more so the ones that want to see things happen long term is significant. We have the Seven of Cups. This time it's a different seven. We had one side that was defensive, and now we have one side that is just confused, because we're getting illusions here. And then we have the Seven of Swords. Okay. We're getting the people that are putting their heels in the sand and are saying, wait, what is going on here? So there's two groups within Congress. Inner emotions are confusion and feeling like there's a need for, I'm hearing, vindication of something. So these are feeling a little these people are feeling a little bit off, a little bit crazy in a sense, because they're feeling a little bit taken by illusions. And then there's the other side that are more so focused and driven on standing their ground and being stubborn. When you have someone that's stubborn and aggressive, and then you have someone that's confused and slow to act. That's kind of a weird vibe. Do you guys get that? So someone who's like, I don't know, just really overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do, and then one person that's too stubborn to move. Nobody. Where do you guys meet? I don't think you guys can meet anywhere because you're over there in the corner, not knowing what the hell's happening in life, and then the other group is kind of feeling like a defensiveness and sticking to their court and sticking to their group and not opening up to the side of the people that are like this. Yeah, so there needs to be some integration. I wonder how that's going to happen for them. Is there anything you'd like to say as advice for these two groups within legislation? We got two. So we have number 25 and 71. Look at the bottom of the deck, guys. Money is coming through. Death. This is about inheritances. It feels like energetically. So there's some people that are wondering what they're going to be doing when they leave or when they pass. So there's some people, folks that are feeling like the end of the road is coming, and there's something about recognition of what they need to do to kind of sever or to tie things up is significant. So their advice is 25. Let's read that. Let's see. The Aegis is Pallas Athena's shield, featuring the decapitated head of the Gorgon Medusa. Its core consists of a stretched skin, by some accounts that of Pallas, the monstrous giant slain by Athena, while others claim it is the hide of Amalthea, the goat nurse who suckled the infant Zeus. Medusa, a devotee of Athena, was violated by Poseidon in Athena's temple and transformed into a gorgon by the goddess of wisdom. Mother of Pegasus and Chrysaor, the acephalic Medusa became Athena's bulwark and emblem. To some in modern times, Medusa represents a rebuke to phallogocentrism. Okay, this is like a very hyper and unhealthy masculine energy. This isn't a balanced masculine energy. So it's about preservation, vindication, retribution, redemption, and feminism. Whatever you think about it, the term feminism has come up. So the advice is to have some form of retribution between something about masculine and feminine energy within Congress. There's not a gender. I think it's not specific to gender. It's more so an energy. And what I feel like is happening here is I'm getting it happening across party lines. So I'm feeling like with the Republican energy, I'm feeling more of the masculine energy that tends to be the one that will violate certain things. Like it will cut off the head of Medusa, for instance, right? Because Medusa has been doing certain things that are not helpful for the group. There's an energy of like one side being a little bit more fixated on the action, like with the Seven of Wands. I'm feeling like the people that are more so determined and very stubborn are the more masculine energies. That could be within the Democrats and Republicans because we have masculine energy everywhere. But I'm feeling it's more intense in the Republican group, and then in the liberal group, it's more so the feminine, but it's the unhealthy energy of wait, I don't know, what do I do? And it's like that energy of not really being confident in seeing how things play out. So you're worrying while you're waiting. That energy is coming through. No offense to anyone, but we've all been through both masculine and feminine energies. Have you ever on a given day felt like you had to attack a situation, like get it done in a certain way, and you didn't care who came across your path, you were going to get it done? You've experienced the masculine energy that's found right now energetically with a certain group within Congress. Have you ever felt like you didn't know what the hell you were going to do? You felt like you were stuck and you felt you were at the whim of another person? You have experienced the feminine energy and of what the other group is experiencing within Congress. So don't give me the energy that you don't know what I'm talking about. We've all experienced it, okay? I just want to make that clear. And people have this weird distinction where they think that if you're saying things like this, you're not spiritual. There's a passion that comes with recognition of our unity and how we're connected, not how we're distant or distinct. How are we connected? Let's talk about it. And let's not bullshit people. Let's be honest. You've done it. I've done it. We've done it. Okay, so I want to just make that clear for people that are new to my channel. I will rant if I want to rant, and I will not rant if I don't want to rant. And you will have the ability and free will and autonomy to skip ahead if you feel like doing it. But please do not tell me about it. I don't really need to know what you do with yourself. I just want to know what resonates and what doesn't down the road. That is what I care about. I care about the people and I care about the incidences that happen. I don't care about the delivery in this instance. This one is about politics. People tend to be really stuck up about politics. It's really frustrating. And we're going to move on into 71. Let's see what that has. It says Moirai. It sounds interesting on the tongue. Moirai, whose name means allotment, are the daemons, not demons. Daemons, personified spirits in Greek mythology of destiny, sometimes called the Fates, and sometimes the daughters of Nyx, and sometimes those of Zeus and Themis, so they tend to change. The Moirai consist of Clotho, the spinner, who spins the thread of our life from distaff to spindle, Lycasis, a lotter, who meets out the length. Each of us are allotted, and the Atropos, unturning, who by cutting the thread of life chooses our manner of death. The Moirai are sometimes depicted as beautiful young maidens and sometimes as ugly old crones. So pick one, I guess, however you want to look at them. Fate, fortune, reward, design, endowment, luck, arbitrariness, the inevitable. They have to accept the inevitable. There's something about fate being at the focus here, and no part of Congress has the complete control that they're looking for. So there's a need to respect and understand that we won't know what's going to happen until it happens. So what we're doing is we're energetically getting an idea of what's going to happen, but the specifics feel like they're still up for debate. Fate is at play. That is the main message they want to give you with regards to the advice. This is specifically for the advice for Congress, is to look at fate and also to understand when vindication is necessary. In this case, there is some vindication and balancing effect between the House of Representatives and the Senate. It was a long time coming, it feels like, so I want you guys to know that. So the outcome, what is the outcome, Spirit Team, to close? And then I will come back for the other portion of this reading at some point. I might just do this as part 1 and send this out to you guys. And then part 2 will be the year ahead for the US, okay? So let's get into the outcome. What is the outcome? Kind of do a series here. We have the Two of Swords is the outcome. Making a choice. You got to make a choice, guys. That's what's coming through. Another sword we have, or rather the Two of Earth coming out, the Two of Pentacles, juggling. What is the outcome, Spirit Team members, for this reading? We have the Six of Earth. This is, okay, Six of Earth came out again. This is the energy. The Tower at the bottom is an overwhelming upheaval. So the outcome, both sides of the legislative branch are going to experience successes, but it won't come easily. It's going to come through difficulty, through decision making. That's going to be very close. There's going to be a lot of close calls with certain laws that are enacted because one person or two people are not going to agree. There's going to be this split energy within Congress that it really makes people like pissed. Like if you miss one of those policies, right, or something about missing, if any of them were to miss something, they would really affect the results. It's very neck and neck is basically what they're going to say, or what they're trying to say. There's a lot of balancing acts. There's a lot of budget cuts, because I'm getting the energy of Two of Pentacles is finding balance, and it's financially finding balance or trying to find your bearings. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, which is about giving back, or equaling what you give or what you receive from other sources back. So retribution is at the head of this. So I want to end it here because I think my baby's calling. I want to thank you guys so much for this reading, for the opportunity to read this with you guys. If you have any constructive criticism to make, I would love to hear it. Anything that's negative or that is going to evoke some arguments that are not helpful or constructive, right? Like just calling people stupid, will be will be taken out just because it doesn't do anything except just bring more negative energy that no one needs. Am I right? Because I don't need it. I love you guys. You take care. Please like, share, and subscribe because liking is really important to the algorithm. I see people get likes for a lot of things in life, but I feel like with readings that are about healing and about politics and about really dense subjects, not a lot of people take the time to like it. So if you feel like you are ready to do that and you're ready to engage with people on YouTube in this way, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to get more specific information catered to you and what you're asking for. I tend to take requests from members and from subscribers. So without further ado, that is what I'll leave you with for now for the legislative branch, and I will see you very soon. Take care.